So when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Lord's going to raise up a standard, a new day, a new reformation, a new standard of holiness is coming. The natural is a picture of the spiritual. What's happening in your nation? See what is happening. This is what I saw, what was happening in Australia. Revival, judgments are beginning to happen, in which there will be followed revival. Tares will be removed before the harvest begins. For the time has come, Paul said Peter said, 1 Peter 4:17, time has come that judgment begins at the house of the Lord. Tares will be removed. Revival will come to a few places in Australia. I don't know what I saw. I didn't know exactly where they were, but maybe one place in each state. I don't know. Then I saw this. There was a revival that came. And there were not in big churches what I saw. That didn't say that there won't be, but revival came. A great outpouring of the Holy Spirit. People are under the power of God for days on end. And then I saw a wind, but it was just a few places. Then I saw this wind blew through these places where the revivals were happening and blew right across the land. And I didn't understand just what that was. But there were the seeds of those revivals that were happening. Some in remote places the wind came and blew it across the whole nation. See, winds in the natural will and do mimic what's coming in the spirit. And so the wind blew their seeds and right across the nation. And then it started to rain. And all over this nation, revival was starting to pick up and happen. They sprang up all over the land. Floods of revival are coming. A mighty wind of the Spirit, first in the natural, then in the spiritual, scatters the seed across the dry land. Australia is a very dry land. Then the rain came. And then suddenly it says in Acts 2 and verse 2, suddenly there came a sound from heaven, a rushing mighty wind, which filled the house that they were sitting. There were some churches these were remote areas, tiny towns in the outback. And some of these were not Pentecostal churches at all. But the power of God fell upon them in a mighty way. And it was supernatural, totally supernatural across these churches. And some of them, one town I saw where the whole town became a Christian town. The whole town. They're so affected by the outpouring of the Spirit of God. Physically, the wind and the fire is coming to this nation, but they are just signs to what's coming in the realm of the Spirit. This will be 7 times greater than what the early church experienced. Scattering it right across the land. Millions will come to the Lord. Millions will come to the Lord in this land. No, it's very, very interesting. We have a controversy in this land about immigration, who we should let into our country. And I understand there are both sides of the story. I understand there are both sides. There are dangers as well as there are good things. However, these who have come in from other nations will be a part of this revival. And they will then take it back to their nations across Asia. I saw them taking it into Japan, Korea, and into these Asian nations. They were caught up in the revival in Australia and became so empowered, they took it home to their nations. The Philippines became a hub. That's all I can say. It was like a hub for all of this to happen, which was happening. And Australia is going to see a great revival. Many churches will gather together on weekend in large stadiums. Healing movement will be some of the greatest we've ever seen. But I also saw this, and I want you to listen to me carefully. There is coming a persecution of Jewish people across the world. This is not Jews in Israel. This is Jews who are still scattered around the world, especially Asia and Europe. And there is coming a persecution against them, which will be greater than Hitler brought against them.